And 2 little bolts hold that spark arrestor on there. And then that spark arrestor holds the safety shield. Well, there you go. There's your answer, or at least my answer. It actually did a real nice job. When VEVOR contacted me about this 3-inch benchtop grinder / polisher, at first I wasn't really sure what the heck I could possibly use it for. And then it occurred to me that this might be an ideal little grinder to use as a tungsten grinder. It can do a whole lot more than just grind tungsten, but that was the initial thought that I got when they asked me if I'd like to review it. So here it is, sent to me by VEVOR. Thank you to VEVOR for sending out this little 3-inch bench buffer polisher. So it comes with a instruction manual. Nice little kit here. It also doubles as like a Dremel tool. You can connect a flexible cable to it and run all these Dremel tools, and this is just a huge package of lots of accessories, some cutoff wheels, some sanding discs, some polishing wheels. I call it a Dremel tool attachment. It's got this Dremel attachment. This seems to be pretty well made. Flexible extension, I guess you call it. Now, these are real popular with people who make jewelry and that sort of thing, or small, crafty, polishing, grinding type needs. Looks like to be a couple of the shields. There is a slight bit of assembly. We'll put it together here for you in a minute and show you how easy that is, or we'll find out how easy it is. And then the grinder itself, I think it said it weighs about 3 or 4 pounds. Sure is a cute little booger. This just might be the ultimate little dedicated tungsten sharpener, at least in my shop. That's probably what I would use it for. Now, I did look at the VEVOR website, checking this out before they sent it to me, and it said it was variable speed, and then there were a few comments on there about how do you adjust the speed, and then some other responses to those comments saying that it's a single speed. So as far as I can tell by looking at it, it looks to me like that's a bit of false advertising that VEVOR needs to change on their website. This one is not, as far as I can tell, a variable speed. It's on or off. But I think it said 10,000 RPM, which is slow for a Dremel tool, but it's, you know, it's pretty fast. 10,000 RPM. Should be an ideal grinder. So let me browse through these instructions. This looks like some of the parts and a few nuts and bolts. Look like the tool rests are in here, and for setting that up with the shields and the tool rests. So I'll get you up here close where you can see what's going on, and I'll put this together and then we'll try it out. This is all the parts that came with it. Check through the box. Nothing left in the box. This is the little tool kit that comes for the adapter, the Dremel tool adapter, and it's a nice little kit. Lots of extra pieces in here. Lots to work with. Some cutting discs, some sanding discs, stone wheels, and polishers, sandpaper, and all that. Real nice little kit comes with it for the use of the Dremel tool adapter. And then for assembly, it comes with 2 safety shields. This is called a spark arrestor. 2 of those. The safety shield's attached to that. We've got 2 tool rests, a couple of wing nuts, a couple washers, and then 3 little tools. Now, I've noticed that I'm missing 4 bolts. These spark arrestors fit up here into these 2 bolt holes here. 2 for each side. And 2 little bolts hold that spark arrestor on there. And then that spark arrestor holds the safety shield. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to show you how to mount the spark arrestor and the safety shields other than what I just explained, because I'm missing the 4 bolts that hold the spark arrestors on there. So all I'm going to demonstrate is how to install these tool rests. There's a threaded hole here for the wing nut, and it shows this going on the inside. And then the wing nut goes through there and holds it on. But I tried that, and if you do that, this is not rounded, so it's squared off. So all you have is forward and backward adjustment. You can't adjust the angle very much, just a few degrees if you do it that way. And this is not the way it shows it in the manual, but I'm going to mount mine with this on the other side for what I want to use it for as a tungsten grinder. That way I can set an angle to it that I want for the tungsten grind. It's just going to be more useful to me that way. The way I'm going to do it, the wing nut's got to go underneath, so it's going to be kind of difficult to get to the wing nut. And then that way I can put this at whatever angle I feel like I want to use for grinding my tungsten. And it is a little bit difficult to get to the wing nut with it like that. That's why they don't have you assemble it that way. But this way I can get my tungsten and rest it on this. And then I can get the same angle grind every time. If it was flat, I would have to just guess on that angle. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do. I'll put this one over here on here correctly for the buffer side. And you can see how that would look if it was done the way they show in the manual. Anyway, that's how it assembles. This is probably way too much distance here between this and that, the way I have it. Should be up there like that. But like I said, I'm going to use it for a tungsten grinder. I want to see how good it does for grinding tungstens. And I'll just make this my dedicated tungsten grinding tool. And let's fire it up. Well, that's pretty nice. Pretty quiet, pretty smooth. Yeah, that's going to make a nice little tungsten grinder, I think. Almost forgot to show you, it also comes with a little more porous wheel here. I don't know what this is, kind of a conditioning type disc. But anyway, you can replace that, put that on the end and use it for other things. I'm going to pull this end cap off and show you how to install the little tool that goes with it. And we'll just have a look at that so I can show you what that's all about. You don't have to pull these all the way out, it looks like. You can just loosen them and then turn this and it'll come off. There we go. Then you've got a threaded shaft that holds the wheel on, and the end of the Dremel accessory just bolts onto the end of that. Don't know how tight that really needs to be, but anyway. And then that way when you turn it on, your tool should turn. Then you've got a little Dremel tool. So that's pretty cool. This little tool looks like an Allen wrench maybe on video, but it's just a pin. You have to look through this hole and line up another hole on that shaft so you can stop that from spinning. Easier said than done, I guess. There we go. And then you can just loosen this and put your tool in there. Tighten that down. And then you're ready to do some grinding. That one's a little bit crooked. It's got a pretty good wobble to it. Let's try it out on a piece of metal here. Feels like it has decent power. Just all wobbly because nothing's straight, but it'll grind. If I just wanted to use this wheel over here on this side as a dedicated tungsten grinder, and I think it'll be pretty good for that, I'm hoping. So we'll get it taken apart, put some of this other stuff away, and then we'll set this up and I'll try to grind some tungsten. We'll see how good of a job it'll do with that. And I tried this with a piece of tungsten to see if that rest was going to work. It wouldn't give me anywhere close to the proper angle anyway. I'd like to get about a 35-degree angle on this tungsten. And this wheel turns toward you. So I'm going to grind up on the top of this and just hold my drill up here like this and just put the angle on it by hand. Now I like to chuck my tungsten up in a drill when I sharpen it. You could probably just do it by hand, but this will give you a uniform angle to it. But I'm going to try to just sharpen it like this and we'll see what happens. I've got just a regular flat tungsten we're starting with here. go. There's your answer, or at least my answer. It actually did a real nice job. It's a very fine grit stone. Did a real good job, but that stone is way too soft for grinding tungsten. I'm only going to be able to sharpen a couple of tungsten and there'll be no stone left. So if I could find a better wheel, the one that comes with it, not good. And neither the other wheel is even softer than this one. But it does put a pretty nice point on there. Maybe I'll see if I can find a 3-inch diamond wheel. I've seen them. Saw a guy's video, he had a diamond wheel on one side of this thing. That might not be a bad idea if I can find one for a reasonable price. But as a tungsten grinder right out of the box, I would say no. Let me try to grind on an old crummy chisel that I don't use as a chisel. I use it for everything else and it's in poor condition. It's got a big old chip in it there, so it's already in poor condition. So let me see if I can come across here and clean that up a little bit. We'll see how the wheel does for that. Seems to have pretty decent power for a little tiny motor. I'm no professional chisel sharpener, and I'm sure this is not the way to do it, but it's the way I'm doing it. And it's definitely taking that chip out of there. Actually, I think it's a pretty good tool, and in all fairness to VEVOR and the tool itself, it's not advertised or marketed as a tungsten grinder. I think it may in the future be a pretty good tool for that if I can source a decent wheel. But as it was designed, I think it's actually a pretty good little tool. I mean, it's designed for a little hobbyist or a trinket maker or a jewelry maker or something like that, grinding on very small items, as well as the Dremel tool attachments. You can buff and polish with it. It seemed to me like it ran real smooth. It had a pretty good amount of power. If you're interested in wanting to check out more information about this tool, I'll leave links in the description, as well as the VEVOR website, so you can get all their specs and details on the size of the motor and everything else. Thanks for checking out the video. If you want to see more fabrication and welding projects, check out another video. I'll post one on the screen now, and we'll see you over there.